There are people who receive compliments every day, people who are told they look good, people who are admired, liked, even envied, and yet, when they look in the mirror, they feel nothing but discomfort. Not hatred, not always sadness, just a quiet sense that something is wrong. No matter how much they change, fix, improve, or hide, it never feels enough. This isn't vanity, and it isn't weakness. Psychology suggests this struggle has very little to do with appearance, and everything to do with identity, safety, and control. For many people, dissatisfaction with appearance begins early, not because someone said something cruel, but because they learned to measure their worth through how they were seen. A comment, a comparison, a moment where attention suddenly mattered. The brain remembers those moments, and over time, the mirror stops being a reflection. It becomes a test. Am I acceptable today? Am I enough now? Did I improve, or did I fail again? What most people don't realize is this. When someone is never satisfied with how they look, they're often trying to fix a feeling, not a face. A feeling of being overlooked, a feeling of not being chosen, a feeling of not being secure in their place in the world. Changing appearance becomes a way to chase certainty. If I look better, I'll finally feel safe. If I improve this, I won't be rejected. If I fix myself, I won't be abandoned. But the brain doesn't work that way, because safety doesn't come from perfection, it comes from acceptance. Another psychological layer is control. When life feels unpredictable, when emotions feel overwhelming, when relationships feel unstable, the body becomes the one thing a person feels they can control. What they eat, how they dress, how they present themselves. The mirror becomes a space where they believe effort equals reward. But the problem is, control never creates peace. It creates pressure. And pressure never says, "You're done." It always says, "Not enough." There's also something deeper happening internally. People who are never satisfied with how they look often experience hyper-awareness. They notice details others don't. Angles, shadows, expressions, flaws no one else sees. Their brain is constantly scanning for mistakes, not because they're insecure, but because their mind learned that mistakes are dangerous. This isn't self-obsession, it's self-protection. And here's something rarely talked about. Many of these people are incredibly sensitive, perceptive, and emotionally deep. They feel things intensely. They think deeply. They reflect constantly, which means they don't just see their appearance, they interpret it. A bad reflection becomes a bad day. A bad day becomes a bad mood. A bad mood becomes self-blame. It all connects. Social comparison makes this worse, not because people want to compete, but because the human brain naturally compares to understand belonging. The problem is, online images aren't reflections of reality, they're reflections of performance. When someone compares their real, unfiltered self to a curated, edited version of someone else, the brain doesn't register logic, it registers deficiency. And that deficiency quietly grows. Over time, dissatisfaction becomes a habit, not because the person enjoys it, but because the brain gets used to criticizing as a form of vigilance. If I stay alert, I won't be hurt. If I stay critical, I won't be surprised. If I never relax, I'll stay in control. But constantly guarding yourself is exhausting, and eventually, the mirror stops being a place of reflection. It becomes a place of judgment. What psychology reminds us is this. People who are never satisfied with how they look are often people who learned that love, attention, or safety was conditional. They don't believe they deserve acceptance as they are. They believe they must earn it, and so they keep trying. Healing doesn't begin by liking what you see in the mirror. It begins by understanding why the mirror feels so powerful. It begins when someone realizes, my appearance is not the problem, my relationship with myself is, and that relationship can change, slowly, quietly, without force. Because one day, the mirror won't ask, "Are you good enough?" It will simply say, "This is you," and that will be enough.